Hi again everyone! Welcome back to this complete tutorial for beginners in AutoCAD. If you feel motivated and want to learn more, just stay in this video as I will be covering more topics which can be useful for improving your knowledge. I also had the feeling to create extra parts here. In this video, I will teach how to scale objects, how to attach an image to the drawing and apply a scale in order to have the real dimensions, how to import a PDF file, and this is especially useful when the file was previously created within AutoCAD, how to stretch objects, and how to fill enclosed areas with the command hatch. Of course, as always, I like to share some tips with you along with the explanations. Let's start. Scale objects. Let's learn how we can scale objects. This command is not hard, but you should understand it well if you want to use it properly. To turn on the command scale, click on the icon. It's this one. Select the objects I want to scale. In this case, I want to scale the figure on the right. Choose this base point. Now, there are several modes to scale objects. The one by default is to insert a scale factor. I am going to type 2, and the lengths of all these lines changed to double size. Okay. I'm going to repeat the process, but this time I want to shrink the objects to half size. I type SC to activate the command again. Select the objects, but now I don't select the dimension line. For the scale factor, I insert 0.5 and the lines were converted to half of the length that they used to have previously. Look that this dimension line was updated, even it was unselected. Scale with a reference. Now I'm going to show to you how to insert a scale with a reference. I turn on again the command scale and select the objects. Select the base point. Looking to the command bar, it says specify scale factor or these options. Copy and reference. I'm going to use the shortcut R to use a reference. And what I need to do here is draw a reference line and type a new length for it. So it's very simple. I click for the first point and then I click for the second point. Finally, I type the new length, which is 55. And press enter to confirm it. Use scale to import a PDF or attach an image. In AutoCAD, it's possible to insert an image to use as a background of a project. For example, images from Google Earth can be used to draw site plans. To attach an image file, I go to the Insert tab at the ribbon, click on Attach, and select an image from my computer. I choose this one. In this window, I can set few options. Here, it's important that I click on Specify on screen the insertion point. Otherwise, the image is inserted on the coordinates which are specified here. Okay, except if it's exactly what you want. I click on OK, and now I click for placing the image. And for the scale factor, I leave it for now, press enter. So what happens here? Most of the time that we insert an image, it's not scaled properly. For example, I have a reference between these 2 points, which is approximately 206.17 meters. If I use the distance command, I type DI, press enter, I can notice that the distance here is a bit longer than what it should. No problem. I can use scale with reference. I turn on the command scale select the image by clicking on the border. If I click inside the image, it doesn't work. Change the mode to reference, and then I draw the line between those 2 points. I will try to make it as accurate as possible. Now it should be correct. And I want to share a tip with you. Always try to use a long reference line. Because if instead my reference was a short distance, after scaling the image tends to be less accurate. To import a PDF file, I can click on the icon also located on the Insert tab here. I'm going to choose the file of the exercises. Then the window that opens has a bit more complex options than for attaching images. Actually, this is a very useful function because if I insert a PDF that was previously created in AutoCAD, I can recover all the layers and the objects. As this PDF has 2 pages, first I need to click on the one that I want to import. On PDF data to import, I tick on vector geometry to import the lines, polylines, circles, arcs, and so on. If I tick on True Type Text, text created with a font that has this symbol will be automatically recognized as text. In AutoCAD, most fonts available are True Type, so usually this is not a problem here. The option below, I tick on it if I have raster images attached. In this case, there aren't, so I keep it unselected. Then, on the right panel, I tick on the first option, Use PDF Layers. On the panel below, you can find more options to add. But for now, let's click on OK. And I am going to insert a file on the project. Nice. Now, if I go to the layer properties, I can see that new layers were created from the PDF, and due to the fact that I made this drawing in AutoCAD, the layers are the same from the original DWG file. I'm going to check out how the objects look like. And you can see here polylines among other objects. Also, look how the text was recognized. If the text was not on a true type font, it would be splitted in very small lines and arcs, which wouldn't be so interesting. However, not everything is perfect. The dimension lines are not recognized, neither block references, which means I have to create them again. But in general, Insert PDF can be very useful. Just be aware, it's only available in the versions after AutoCAD 2017. Stretch objects. Sometimes in AutoCAD we need to stretch figures. Let's learn how it works. First, it's important to have in mind that this operation doesn't work for blocks. As you can see, here I have only lines and polylines. Let's do it. I am going to click on the command stretch. It's this icon here. Then I have to select the part to actually stretch. So I open the selection from the right just until here. Then I specify this base point. As you can see, I'm extending and moving objects to this side. And as the dimension line was in the selection, it is also readjusting. Now, I can click to place the objects exactly how it's on the screen, however it's without any kind of precision, or type a distance to extend. If I type 800, actually I add that value to the original length of 600, and the total is 1400. The way that the objects stretch depends only on the selection. Even I select a different base point, the result is the same. Let's repeat this again. And this time I want to change the selection to cover also this line. I press Enter, and you can see the object stretching differently. Now I want to try to stretch vertically. I select the objects, press Enter, and oh, it's not as I was expecting. But I select all the objects. Why does this happen? When I was doing the selection, I kept these sides outside of the selection area. And even everything was selected because the external rectangle is a polyline, a single object. The really important thing here is what actually I am covering with the area. Hatch. Filling enclosed areas. In this section, I will be talking about a drawing tool which is used to fill enclosed areas. It's the command hatch. But first, I am going to create a new layer in this file. Let's check out if you remember how to do it. I go to the Properties Manager, click with the right button, and New Layer. I name it as simply Hatch. Then I'm going to choose a color for it. For example, this kind of pink. OK. Now I'm going to turn on the command hatch. It's located here at the drawing panel. Wait a few seconds if you want to read the description of this tool. Sometimes it can be interesting. Then, to apply a hatch, click on it, and I have to click inside an enclosed area. It can be any of these rectangles. I click to fill this one. Ah, it's in a white color. I forgot to change the layer. Yes, when you create a new layer, you still need to set it as the current layer before you draw the objects in. Otherwise, it will not work. Go to the Layer tab and click on Hatch. Now I see this message appeared. The current layer will be turned off. What do you want to do? For any reason, this bulb is switched off, and if I draw objects on that layer, they will not be visible. Click to turn it on. I'm going to repeat the process. Click on the command Hatch and fill that area. Now it's on the correct layer. Press Enter to confirm. Then, by dragging the mouse over, you can see that it's a hatch object. Now I will show you another way to use hatch. I click again here, and then, instead of pressing Enter, I fill a different area right away. What happened is that both areas are now a single object. Hatch Editor. Above, a new tab appeared at the ribbon specialized for editing hatches. I'm going to show you briefly the functions here. I'm going to click on this button at this panel, and you can see a lot of patterns to use here. The first one, Solid, is the simplest one. It fills the area with just one color. I choose, for example, this. Now let's have a look at the options at this side. On these controls, I changed the scale. Look how is the effect. On the Angle tab above, I can rotate the pattern. Finally, on Hatch Transparency, I add a transparent effect to the objects. I want to mention one thing. When I first tried to change the scale, by clicking on the controls, I realized that these values didn't change a lot. Even if I type a number with decimals, it shows just 0. When this happens, it means that I should go to the Unit Properties, type UN and press Enter. And in this tab, I need to set decimals. For example, 2 decimal cases. Then it should work fine. Okay, thank you very much for watching this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe to CAD in Black if you haven't done it yet. Just click in the icon that is shown here. Also, if you need online private lessons, you can send me an email to the address that I show you there. So it's everything, and see you next time.